Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emma Pigeon and thank you so much for joining me today. We have a longer practice today, about an hour. These ones are my favorite because I feel like you can really get the most out of your practice. You can get your heart rate up, you can get a nice stretch and some twists and back bends in there. We're not really cramped on time, so that's why I love longer practice. I try to keep my classes varied because I also think some movement is better than no movement, and some days you might only have 20 or 30 minutes to fit something in, and that's great. Today's class is going to be a bit longer though. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll get started in a comfortable seat today. If you would prefer, you could sit onto a block or a blanket. You could cross at your ankles for Sukhasana, easy seat, or half or full lotus, Padmasana. Once you find a comfortable seat, roll your shoulders out a few times and gently close your eyes. Without any judgment or expectation, just notice where you feel your breath the most in your body. And when we first step on the mat, the breath might feel choppy or shallow. We might be breathing mostly into our chest, only using 30% or so of our lung capacity. These shorter, choppier breaths activate our sympathetic nervous system. So it's going to be your fight or flight response. This is useful when you're in a stressful situation. You need that adrenaline and cortisol pumping through your veins. However, on our yoga mat, we want to breathe a little bit deeper, all the way into your low belly if possible. Now you're using upwards of 90% of your lung capacity and activating more of your parasympathetic nervous system. This is your rest and digest response instead of the fight or flight. We want to try to stay in this space for the remainder of our practice using breath control, pranayama, even and full breaths. One more big breath here. Find the top of your inhale and exhale. Gently open your eyes. Reach both arms up overhead, lengthen through your waist. Bring your left hand down, stretch your right arm up and over. Keep sinking your right hip towards the mat. Maybe you like to look up at the sky or up at the ceiling and roll out your right wrist. Now keep your left hand on the mat, just press down so your torso comes back up. Keep your left fingertips onto the mat. Take your right hand up and over your head, grab your left ear, and then pull a little bit over to the right. Imagine your left hand is sliding a piece of paper away from you. Breathe deeply into the left side of your neck, all the way into your left fingertips. Lift your head back up through center. Put your right hand more at the middle of your upper back. Take your left hand, grab your right elbow. So you're doing a tricep stretch on the right side. Kind of lean your skull back into your forearms. Expand your chest. Pull your belly button back and knit your ribs for 3, 2, 1. Gently release. Your right hand comes down, left arm up and over, side stretch. Keep sinking your left hip. Maybe you look up and roll out your left wrist. And then press down into your right hand, but keep your fingertips on the mat. Take your left hand and grab your right ear and pull it over to the left. Right hand sliding a piece of paper away from you. Breathe into the right side of your neck. Lift your head back up through center. Put your left hand at the middle of your upper back, and then right hand grabs left elbow for a tricep stretch. Knit your ribs, lengthen through your spine. You might feel your core work a little bit here for 3, 2, and 1. Gently release. Clasp your hands behind your back. Press your knuckles into the mat and lift your chin up, chest up. Imagine your spine going in towards your heart. Keep your bind, but lift your torso back up, and now bring your bind over to the right side of your waist. Bring your right ear over towards your right shoulder. So again, stretching the left side of your neck. Release and switch. Bind goes over to the left side of your waist, and bring your left ear over towards your left shoulder. Stretch along the right side of your neck again. And release. Let's put the hands out in front of us. Come into a tabletop position. Spread your fingers out. We'll move through a few rounds of cat-cow. On your inhale, arch your back, lift your tailbone. On your exhale, tuck your chin in and round your spine. Few more. Inhale, arch. Find the top of your breath. Look up. Exhale, round. Empty your lungs. Few more, just like that. Last two. One more. We'll meet back in a tabletop position, and then we're going to start drawing clockwise circles. So you'll sink your hips back towards your right heel, over towards your left heel, hips towards your left wrist, right wrist, and then big circles, one direction to start. Nice side body stretch, kind of getting into your waist, your hips, anywhere that feels a little tense or tight. You're breathing into those areas, or maybe pausing. Last one this direction, and then just switch directions, going counterclockwise. Let your neck relax. You can take these movements as fast or as slow, feels good in your body. There's no rush. And then we'll meet back in a tabletop position. Walk your hands forward for puppy pose. Bring your forehead down. You might like to grab the front of your mat and pull it forward. Press the tops of your feet and your ankles down. Lift your tailbone up and think about your outer hips being lifted towards the ceiling. Pull your belly button up and in, lengthen through your abdomen. You might like to bring the chin to the mat and melt your heart space down a little bit further for 3, 2, and 1. Slide forward onto your belly, Sphinx pose. Plug your shoulders back and pull your chest forward. Let's bring the left forearm diagonal with the top of the mat. Bend your right knee. Reach your right hand back for your foot. Start by just pulling your right heel in towards your butt to get a nice quad stretch. Try to square your torso forward and press the top of your left ankle down. Now, kick your foot back into your hand, feeling a nice shoulder stretch. Start to feel your right quadricep working for 3, 2, and 1. Gently release. Right forearm diagonal across the top of your mat. Reach your left hand back for your foot. Start by pulling your heel in towards your glute, and you'll feel that nice stretch. Try to square your torso forward. Press the top of your right foot down. And then kick back into your hand. Get a nice shoulder, chest opener. Continue squaring your torso forward for 3, 2, and 1. Gently release. Bring both hands down to the mat. Let's roll it up to a cobra pose. Pin the shoulders back. Maybe rock your hips a little bit side to side. Look right and left. And we'll find a child's pose. Sink your tailbone back towards your heels as you outstretch your arms. Rock your forehead a little bit side to side, smoothing out any tension you feel you might be holding on to. Take a big breath in, and exhale, find stillness. One more just like that. Let's come up to a tabletop position. Tuck your toes to the mat, and then hover your shins. Find a hovering tabletop, look down between your thumbs. Squeeze an imaginary block between your knees. Plug your shoulders back, look down between your thumbs. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1, keep your knees bent as you lift your hips up towards bear pose. Let your head hang heavy, spread your fingers out. So knees are bent, heels are lifted. You feel a nice stretch through your lower back. Drop just your right heel towards the mat. Feel a nice stretch through the calf and the hamstring. Press evenly through your palms. And switch. And then take a few moments here, pedal out your legs on your own. Maybe shake out your head yes and no. Let's bring the feet out nice and wide, about the width of your mat. Walk your hands back just a little bit, few centimeters, few inches. Put your thumbs to touch. Your right hand will grab your left ankle and kind of pull yourself through, twisting down dog. Bump your hips a little to the right, squeeze your thighs. Press your left palm forward and down. Let your head hang heavy. And then get your right thumb to meet your left thumb, and we'll switch. Left hand grabs right ankle. Imagine pulling your torso through to the right, bumping your hips off to the left for 3, 2, and 1. Thumbs touching, step or lightly jump your feet outside of your hands. We'll take a yogi squat. Heels in, toes out. Elbows press your knees away. Feel free to take a seat on your block. Thumbs towards your sternum, sink your tailbone. Drive your heels into the mat and lift through the crown of your head. If you'd like, you might add a little rock side to side here. Release your hands, turn your toes to point forward, and lift your hips up so they're in line with your knees. Think 90-degree bend with your hips. Reach your arms forward and then turn your palms in and a little bit up. Look down at the mat. You'll start to feel the tension build in your quads. Draw your belly button up and in, lengthen through your waist. Plug your shoulders back. Light toes, heavy heels. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Forward fold with a bind. Clasp your hands behind your back. Keep a gentle bend in your knees, but lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Clamp your palms together. On your inhale, you feel a little lift of your sternum. As you exhale, a little more fold. Bend your right knee and turn your chest to the left, like your right arm is pulling your left arm up and over. Broaden through your collarbones, expand your chest. And switch. Back through center. Left knee bend, turn torso to the right. Shoulder blades together, chest expanding. Back through center, release your hands. Walk your feet in about the width of your hips. Keep your toes pointing forward, and then on your inhale, lift up halfway. On your exhale, fold, maybe grab your ankles. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Put your hands down firmly or use your fingertips and take a big step back with your left foot. We'll meet in a runner's lunge. Now I want you to think you can use your fingertips or your flat palms, but fingertips might give you a little bit more space. Think about lifting your chest away from your right thigh. So really activating through your legs. Press the back of your left knee up. Now left hand down, right arm up. Keep the activation in your legs, twisting to the right. Expand your chest. Now I want you to roll to the outside edge of both feet, sunrise lunge. You might need to walk your right foot a little bit back on your mat. I'm going to have you lower your left hip towards the mat and reach your right arm towards the back of the mat. So the right arm is parallel with the left leg. You'll feel a stretch here in your outer hips. Now I want you to lift your hips up, extend your right arm up and overhead. As you send your hips to the sky, you're squeezing your left oblique. Lower your hips back down. And lift it up. Right arm up and over like a rainbow. One more. Lower hips down. Right arm lift up. Now put your right hand down. Walk it all the way towards the back of your mat for a flying monkey, but take it gentle. Keep your hands on the mat. Flex your right toes towards the ceiling, but don't sink all the way. Put a big bend in your left knee, maybe about 90 degrees, kind of like what we did in that squat at the front of the mat. Breathe here for 3, 2, 1. Straight legs, wide leg forward fold. Line your fingertips up with your toe tips. Maybe walk your hands back a little bit if you have the space. Think chaturanga arms. Feel free to gently bend your knees. Pull your belly button up and in for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, lift up halfway. Walk towards the back of your mat. Find a runner's lunge. Think about lifting your torso away from your left thigh. You can use your fingertips or your palms. Just make your legs nice and active so you can feel this right leg working already. Right hand down under the shoulder. Reach your left arm up. Keep the action in your legs. Pull your belly button back and twist more. Now roll to the outer edge of both feet. You might need to wiggle your left foot back a little bit. Lower your right hip towards the mat as you reach your left arm parallel with your right leg. As you lift your hips, your left arm sweeps up and over. You feel stretch outer hips. Lower your right hip down, reach your left arm back. Inhale up and over. 1 more, lower hips. And up and over. Now put your right hand down, or left hand down. Walk it all the way towards the front, bending deeply into your right knee. Keep your hands on the mat as you flex your left toes up. Kind of like a modified skandasana. Sink a little deeper into your right leg, almost a 90-degree bend here. Light toes, heavy heels for 3, 2, 1. Forward fold. Line your fingertips up with your toe tips again. Firm your thighs. Press evenly through all 4 corners of your feet and relax your neck. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift up halfway. Walk towards the front of your mat and then step your right foot back to meet your left foot. You're in a high plank position. As you inhale, shift forward, modified chaturanga. Drop your knees, untuck your toes, hug your arms in, lower your chest and chin towards the mat. Think about it like a wave. Press your hips down, lift your chest forward and roll your shoulders back, cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, send your hips back and then up, downward facing dog. Let your head hang heavy and then adjust your hands and feet as needed. Feet are the width of your hips, hands a little wider than shoulders. Spread your fingers out and make sure your pointer finger is pointing forward. Create some space between the shoulder blades. Hollow out your armpits. Breathe here for 3, 2, 1. Lift your heels, firm your calves, your thigh muscles. Take as many baby steps as you can all the way up to the front of the mat. You can choose feet touching or the width of your hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Rise all the way up to stand. Reach both arms up. Bring your hands to your heart center. Gently close your eyes. Take a breath in. And exhale. Release your arms down by your side. Sun salutation A. We're going to do 3 of these, nice and traditional, to get your body warmed up. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Finish your breath. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Put your hands down and step back, right foot then left foot, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, upward facing, or Bhujangasana, cobra pose. On your exhale, roll over your toes and press back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. We'll be here for a few breaths. Always feel free to bend your knees. Drop your heels towards the mat, but they don't need to touch the mat. They're just going in that direction. And then kind of bump your heels out just a centimeter or 2 so you can't see them behind your ankles. This will help your inner thighs rotate backwards. Press your thigh bones back. Breathe with purpose, with intention. Lift your heels, look forward. Step with your right foot, then your left foot to the front of your mat. Inhale, Ardha, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale all the way back up, Urdhva Hastasana, palms press. Exhale, hands to heart center. and Samastitihi. Release your arms down by your side. Round 2, inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold. Feel free to bend your knees. Inhale, halfway. Hands down, step left foot, then right foot, chaturanga. Finish your breath. On your inhale, take your back bend. Finish your breath, and on your exhale, downward facing dog. Neck relax, soften the muscles in your face. Unclench your jaw, release your tongue. Your breath can be in and out through your nose with a little contraction in the back of your throat. If you feel stuffy or that's not quite possible, don't worry about it. Just try to make your breath even length, even depth, maybe in the nose, out the mouth. One more breath here. Lift your heels, look forward, step with your left foot and your right foot to the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Rise all the way up to stand, reach both arms. Bring your hands to your heart and down by your side. Last one, inhale, arms up, maybe you lean back a bit. Exhale, forward fold, empty your lungs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, palms down, step or jump back. Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Cobra and upward facing dog are very similar poses, so they're kind of interchangeable in your sun salutation. You can choose what works best for you. If the vinyasas as a whole aren't working out for you, or you have any wrist or elbow pain, you're always welcome to skip the vinyasas. Take a round of cat-cow instead, or just meet back in downward facing dog. That's totally fine. Maybe you feel a little bit more space, a little bit more ease, now that we've been back here a few times. And lift your heels, look forward, step or jump to the front. Halfway lift and fold. Inhale, bring your arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart center and down by your side. Imagine you could touch the floor, bend your knees and reach your arms up for Utkatasana, chair pose. Melt your shoulders, take an inhale. Exhale, sweep your arms back and make a bind. Draw the shoulder blades together, look down at your mat. Now I want you to come up to standing, straight legs. Bring your knuckles towards the right side of your waist like we did seated, and bring your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Firm your thighs this time. Light toes, heavy heels. Breathe into the left side of your neck. Release your knuckles behind you. Take a gentle back bend, look up. Come back up to standing and bring your knuckles towards the left side of your waist. Bring your left ear over towards your left shoulder. Firm your thighs, knit your ribs. Back through center. Again, little back bend. Keep the bind, maybe switch which thumb is on top as you forward fold. Forehead towards your shins. Release your hands to the mat. Malasana or yogi squat. We did yogi squat already. If you'd like Malasana, your feet stay together, knees out wide, and you'll walk your hands forward. The goal is to keep your big toes touching, heels touching, and get your heels closer to the mat. Arms reaching forward is great. You might also like to reach your arms back. And then imagine you're going to take a seat back into your palms. If that still feels good and you want to go a little further, you could try to grab your ankles. Kind of wiggle your chest towards your feet. Think about rounding your spine and hugging your knees in. Sinking some weight back to the heels. So your tailbone gets a little bit closer to the mat. Draw your belly button back towards you for 3, 2, and 1. Release your hands. Let's take a seat all the way down onto the mat for Navasana, boat pose. Parallel your shins with the mat and stretch your arms forward. If you want a little more, straighten your legs, roll your shoulders back. Think about your upper back being nice and flat, not rounded, for 3, 2, 1, hug both knees into your chest. Rock up and down your spine a few times. 1, let's do 3, 2, 3. We're going to meet back in Navasana, boat pose. Legs straight or knees bent. Breathe here for 3. Proud chest. 2. Listen carefully. 1, hug just your right knee into your chest, but rock up and down your spine 3 times. 1, hugging the right leg in. 2, and 3. You'll take a seat with the right knee bent, left leg straight. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold over your left leg. Both arms are inside of your right knee, and you're hugging the right knee in towards the shoulder. Should feel a little bit similar to Malasana. If you'd like, take your arms out wide like you're swimming, like a breaststroke. Then maybe half wrap, left arm behind, maybe full bind. Square your torso over towards your left leg. Flex your toes. Breathe here for 3, 2. If you're bound, release it. Now, we're gonna rock back 1 time. You might need a block or your hands for assistance. We're gonna go into a pistol squat on the right leg. So rock yourself back. The right foot's gonna plant again. Maybe use your hands. Then you'll reach your left peace sign fingers towards your left big toe. Maybe use a block under your right hand. You could also put a block under both hands. Now, I want you to come up to standing. You can turn your block to the tall height with the right hand. Kind of press down into that. Let's float the left leg out in front of us and reach the arms up. Left leg floating out in front for 3, 2, 1. Sweep your left leg back and your arms back for warrior 3. Look down at your mat, tuck your chin in towards your throat. Notice your left hip. If it's opening to the left, drop it down a bit. Start to bend into your right knee. Take a big step back with your left foot and reach both arms up to a high lunge crescent warrior. Can you bend a little deeper into your right knee? And then I also want you to bend into your left knee like a double lunge. Think 2 90-degree bends. Knit your ribs, pull your belly button back, take an inhale. Exhale, hinge forward, straighten your left leg and sweep your arms back. Roll your shoulders onto your back. Make a bind here. Opposite thumb on top if you remember. On your inhale, turn to your left. On your exhale, forward fold. Squeeze your thigh muscles. Keep the bind, feel that stretch in your shoulders. Press into your feet, rise back up. Release your arms and take a warrior 2 to the back of your mat. Press your knees away from each other. Relax your shoulders. Light toes. Straighten your left leg. Reverse triangle. Reach your left arm up and back. On your exhale, side angle. Bring your left elbow to your left thigh. Reach your right arm up. You might like to extend your right arm overhead if you're ready for it. Press the outer edge of your foot down. Maybe look up at the ceiling. Notice if your ribs are flaring out. Try to tuck the ribs in. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Look beyond your left foot, half moon pose. Left hand forward, lift right leg up. Squeeze your glute muscles together. Maybe reach your right arm up as well. Externally rotate your hips. Keep your right leg active. Breathe here for 3, 2, 1. Bring both hands to the mat. Take a Shiva squat. Right knee to your left calf. Your hands are on the mat. Think shoulders back. Hug your right heel towards your butt. Now I want you to come up to stand, dancer pose. Right hand inside the foot. Left arm reach up. Kick back. Reach forward. Left hand. I like a little bend in the standing knee. This helps me to stabilize through the joints. Choose one unmoving spot. Focus your gaze. Pull your belly button back for 3, 2. Dive one or both hands down to the mat, standing splits. You're standing on your left leg, folding. Kick right leg up nice and high. Breathe here for 3, 2, 1. Step your right foot behind your left foot so your ankles are crossed. Gently bend your knees and then walk your hands over to the left. Let your head hang heavy. Feel that nice stretch through the right side body. Now, keep your ankles crossed. Walk your hands to the right and keep going. Spin on your toes or maybe on your heels until you're facing the front of your mat. Your feet are about the width of your hips here. Now, take your peace sign fingers, grab your big toes. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, pull yourself into a fold. Elbows go out and a little bit back. Feel free to bend your knees. Any forward fold, you can bend your knees. 3, 2, 1. Now release just your right hand. Bring your right hand to your waist. This will feel somewhat similar to the pistol squat that we did. I like a little bend in the right knee. Try to keep your left leg straight, but you can always grab the left knee instead if you prefer. As you start to stand, lift your left knee or left leg out in front of you for big toe pose. The left shoulder wants to go forward, so try to plug it back. Rotate the right side of your chest a little forward. Pull your belly button back towards your spine and stamp your right heel into the mat. Now I want you to take your right hand and grab the outer edge of your left foot or knee and twist to the left. Expand your chest. Choose one unmoving spot. Focus your gaze. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Reach both arms up. Float your left leg. We've been here before. And sweep your arms back, warrior 3. This should feel familiar. We already did this at the top of the mat. Now, I want you to put your hands on the mat. Keep your left leg lifted as you walk your hands all the way forward to 3-leg down dog. Bend your left knee and stack your hips open. Shift your weight forward. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot and step your left foot behind you for Wild Thing. Now, Wild Thing is great as it is. If you want to add on, you're going to spin onto your right heel, lower your hips towards the mat. Your left arm is parallel with your right leg and your left knee is bent. So we did something similar in our sunrise lunge. Now I'm going to have you lift your hips up, reach your left arm up and over, back to your Wild Thing. And then again, lower your seat down, your right toes point up. One more, lift hips up. And lower your seat. Lift hips up, Wild Thing. Come through side plank on the right. Hug your left knee towards your left shoulder and then take a gentle step with your left foot forward. Both hands can come down to the mat and we'll find a warrior 1. Spin your right heel down and reach both arms up. Think of a little twist over that left leg, kind of like what we did in big toe pose, where the right side of your torso needs to come a little bit forward. Clasp your hands behind your back. On your inhale, lift your chest, chin up. Exhale, dive, humble. Drop inside of your left leg. Head hangs heavy. Go ahead and release your bind. Now, I want you to take your arms out wide, the left arm underneath the left leg. Arms out wide, kind of like you're flying, eagle arms. You can always put your hands on the mat. We're going there eventually. Put those hands on the mat, and your left arm is on your left leg is on your left arm like a backpack. You might walk your hands a little bit forward. Now, stay here or bind. The left arm goes underneath, left palm face up at your tailbone. Maybe right arm wrap behind. Now I want you to keep your torso square towards the mat. Drop your head. Breathe here for 3, 2, 1. Release that. Walk it over to the right. Wide leg forward fold. And then start to sink into your right leg, Skandasana at the back of the mat. We did a modified Skandasana before. This is more of a full Skandasana if you have it in your practice. Left toes flex. If you think you're hyperextending your knee, put a little bend. Stay here or open arms. Again, like you're swimming. Arms out nice and wide, proud chest. Maybe left arm wrap behind and make that bind. Flex your left toes. Expand your chest, and then you're turning your torso a little bit to the left. We'll be here for 3, 2. Release the bind, come up to a warrior 2, face the front of the mat. Press your knees away from each other. Inhale, breath, reverse warrior. Exhale, breath, side angle. Bring your elbow to your thigh. We've been here before on this side. Now I want you to wrap your right arm behind your back, half wrap. Stay here, or left arm wraps underneath. Now before we took a bind and we kept the torso square to the mat. Now you're turning towards the side. So for me, I'm turning towards this gray wall and opening my chest. Stay here, or take one step up with your right foot and then another step up with your right foot. You're in kind of a forward fold with the bind around your left leg. We're going to birds of paradise. Stamp your right heel into the mat. Start to shift the weight into your right leg. The transition may feel similar like to what we did in big toe pose. As you come up to stand, expand your chest towards the front of your room or front of your mat, whatever's in front of your mat. Hug your left knee towards your left shoulder. You might go ahead and straighten your leg. For me, my hamstrings feel pretty tight, so I'm not going to straighten my leg, but you're definitely welcome to. We'll be here for 3, 2, slowly as you can, lower. We'll all meet with both feet at the front of the mat. Release your bind and hang out in a forward fold for a moment. Shake out your head, let it hang heavy. And then walk your feet in, feet touching or hips width. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sweep your arms back and make a bind. Come up to stand, bring your right knuckles towards the right side of your waist, and bring your right ear over towards your right shoulder, stretch the left side. Take a gentle back bend, knuckles towards your heels, lean back. Up to standing, knuckles to the left side of your waist, bring your left ear over towards your left shoulder. Gentle back bend, and forward fold, keep the bind. Release your hands to the mat. Again, Malasana or yogi squat. Knees go out wide, hands will walk forward. If you want to give Malasana a shot this time, go for it. If yogi squat is still good for you, stay there. Maybe you reach back for your heels, hug your knees in towards your shoulders, and round your back quite a bit. Think about the inner edges of the feet squeezing towards each other. That will help you engage your inner thighs for 3. Proud chest, collarbones expand. 2. 1. Go ahead, release that. Drop your seat back. Navasana, boat pose. Go ahead and try to straighten your legs this time. If you have some extra energy, I encourage you. 3, 2. We'll start with both knees. Grab behind your hamstrings. Take 3 rocks up and down the length of your spine. 1, 2, 3. Back to Navasana. Straight legs if you've got it for 3. Proud chest, belly in. 2. Now you're going to grab just your left shin. Keep your right leg straight. 3 rocks. Take it back. 1. Take it back. 2. Take it back. 3. And we'll come up to seated with the right leg straight, hugging your left shin in towards you. You might need to wiggle your left foot a little bit out to the left for more space. Reach both arms up. Inhale. Hinge forward, reach for your right foot. So the left knee is on the outside of the left arm. You can open your arms like a breaststroke, like you're swimming and expanding your chest forward. Half wrap the right arm behind the back. Maybe left elbow bends and you can grab fingertips or your right wrist. Hinge over your right leg. Think chin towards your big toe. Breathe here for 3, 2. If you've got the bind, release it. And you might like to put this block on the left side of your mat. We're going to take 1 roll back and go into our pistol squat on the left leg. Roll yourself back. Stamp your left heel. Feel free to use your hands. The right leg is reaching forward. I like to grab the big toe, feel a little bit more stable, and like I need to use my right hip flexor a little left. I also like to put my left hand on the block as I come up to stand on the left leg. Float your right leg out in front of you and reach your arms up, low belly in for 3, 2, sweep it back, warrior 3. Arms go back, hinge your torso. Notice your hips. If they want to open up to the right, try to drop your right hip down, flex your toes, and tuck your chin into your throat. Take a big step back with your right foot and reach your arms up to a high lunge. Then I actually want you to bend your right knee as well, so you're in like a double lunge position. It's easy to arch the back here. Try to tuck the ribs. Take a breath in. Breath out, sweep your arms back, and hinge forward. Make a bind here. Keep your bind. Inhale up, turn to your right. Exhale, wide leg forward fold. Press the outer edges of your feet down. As you inhale, feel your chest lift a little bit. As you exhale, squeeze more. Inhale, lift your torso back up. Release your bind. Take a warrior 2 to the back of your mat. Realign your feet. Straighten your legs, reverse triangle. Press the ball of your right foot down. And then find a side angle. Bring your elbow to your thigh, reach your left arm up. Lighten the right toes, stamp your heel. Maybe you extend your left arm overhead and press the outer edge of your left foot down for 3, 2, look down, bump your right hand forward, mat or block for half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Squeeze the glute muscles together to externally rotate the hips. Maybe reach your left arm up. Imagine you're sandwiched in between 2 panes of glass. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Left hand down, Shiva squat. Tap your left knee to your right calf. Hug your left heel towards your butt, kind of like you're doing a hamstring curl. So you feel your left leg working already. Let's come up to stand, dancer pose. The right arm will reach up. Inside grip on the left foot, kick back and hinge forward. I like a gentle bend in the standing knee. Plug the right shoulder back. Think about the left hip. Try to drop it towards the mat instead of open it up to the left for 3. Choose a spot, focus 2. Steadily, 1 or both hands, dive them down. We'll meet in a standing splits. Kicking the left leg up as high as you can and folding over your right leg for 3, 2, 1. Step your left foot behind your right foot so your ankles are crossed, and then walk your hands over to the right side. Feel that nice big lengthen along the left side body, and gently bend your knees if you like. Keep your ankles crossed, walk your hands over to the left. You might like to come onto the balls of your feet or your heels, pivot. So now your legs are uncrossed and you're facing the front of your mat, but you're at the back of your mat. Peace sign fingers, grab your big toes, inhale, lengthen, and exhale, forward fold. 3, crown of the head sinking, 2, 1, halfway lift. Keep your right hand where it is. Take your left hand to the left side waist. Start to shift the weight into your left leg and lift your right leg up in front of you, kind of similar to what we did in our pistol squat. Plug the right shoulder back. Think about turning left side of the torso a little forward, and then take your left hand to the outer edge of your right foot or knee and twist to your right. Chest expanding. Maybe shift your gaze back for 3, 2, unwind your torso, 1, reach your arms up, float your leg. This should feel familiar. Sweep your right leg back, find a warrior 3. Square yourself towards the mat and then put your left hand or both hands down. Walk yourself out to 3-leg downward facing dog. Your right leg stays up. Bend your knee, stack your hips open, and then shift your weight forward. Roll to the outside of your left foot and gently step your right foot behind you for wild thing. Send your hips to the sky. Stay here or lower your seat towards the mat. So your right foot will probably be off your mat, but your toes are pointing to the back of your mat. Right arm is parallel with your left leg. Lift your hips up, back to your wild thing. Lower your hips down, take a seat. Right arm reach back towards the back of your mat. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. Last time, lift up. Come through side plank on the left. Start to lift your right foot up off the mat. Crunch your knee towards your right shoulder. With or without the help of your hands, step your right foot forward. We'll find a warrior one. Reach both arms up. Right foot forward, warrior one. Bind your hands behind your back. Inhale, lift your chest, chin up. Exhale, dive, humble. Humble warrior, bump your hips a little to the left. Release your bind. Thread your right arm underneath your right leg. You can take your arms out wide, kind of like a T shape. You might stay here or half wrap, right arm underneath, maybe full bind. Keep your torso square to the mat. Hug the right knee towards the right shoulder like you're wearing a backpack for 3, 2, 1. Release your bind. Wide leg fold to the left. And then start to sink your hips towards your left heel for Skandasana. If you need to modify, go for it. Right toes flexed. Stay here or open arms. Again, kind of like you're swimming and pulling your chest forward. You might half wrap, right arm behind. You might full bind. Turning torso a little bit to the right. Stamp your left heel. Expand your chest. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Release your bind. Warrior 2 to the front of your mat. Realign your feet as needed. Your right knee is bent, heel to arch. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, side angle. Now in your side angle, you can stay. You might half wrap, left arm behind back. You might full bind, right arm underneath. Grab your left wrist or fingertips. Now, instead of dumping your torso forward like we did in that warrior one, you're trying to open your chest, maybe towards the ceiling. Stay here or take 1 step up with your left foot and then a 2nd step up with your left foot so all 10 toes are facing to the front of the mat. Keep that nice tight bind on the right leg. Start to shift the weight into your left leg. And as you come up to stand, hug your right knee in towards your right shoulder. Birds of paradise. Stamp your left heel into the mat, gaze forward. Choose an unmoving spot. You might stay here or straighten your right leg. Breathe for 3, 2, 1. Slowly start to lower yourself down. We will all meet with all 10 toes pointing to the front of the mat. Release your arms. Go ahead, shake out your head. Let it go. On your inhale, lift up halfway. Pull your shoulders back. Exhale, fold. Maybe grab your ankles. Rise all the way up to stand. We're going to take a nice, gentle standing back bend. Feet are the width of your hips, hands to your low back. Move your tailbone and your glutes down. On your inhale, chest lift. On your exhale, lean back. Breathe here for 3, 2, firm your glutes. 1, lift yourself back up and forward fold all the way down. Let's go ahead and take a big step back with the left foot. Drop the knee. Wiggle your right foot out to the right and turn your toes out. Bring your right hand to your right thigh for a crooked monkey stretch. Melt your hips forward. If you want more, right hand for the left foot. Release the back foot if you've got it. Inchworm your right foot all the way over to the left side of your mat for pigeon pose. Well deserved. Extend your left leg back behind you. The toes are pointing back. Make sure the toes are not pointing in or out. And when you're ready, you might walk yourself down to your forearms or stack your palms. If this doesn't feel good, you're always welcome to take a seated or supine figure 4. Breathe into that right hip. Two more breaths. Slowly walk your hands back towards you. Bring your right knee more towards the center of your mat. Slide your left knee up behind your right knee and take a seat back for Gomukhasana, cow face pose. The right leg is on top. You might like to use your hands and kind of stack the knees a little bit more. Anything you want with the arms, you could grab your feet, you could walk your hands forward, you could clasp your hands behind your back, or take eagle arms. Lots of different options. Wherever you are, I want you to feel sensation in your outer hips, but I don't want it to be painful. So feel sensation, no pain. We'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. Release whatever you're doing with your hands. I want you to walk your hands over to the left. Start to lift your hips up, and then you'll be facing the back of your mat. So kind of wide or forward fold facing the back of your mat. Walk your hands forward and your feet back so you find a plank pose. And then we'll just be taking our crooked monkey on the other side. So step your left foot forward and drop your right knee. You're now facing the back of your mat. Your left hand to the left thigh, little twist. Maybe you reach back for your right foot. Release the back foot if you've got it. Inchworm your left foot over to the right side for pigeon pose. Stay upright or walk it forward. Remember that side 2 might be a little bit different for you than side 1. That's okay. Two more breaths. Slowly start to walk your hands back towards you. Bring your left knee more towards the center. Slide your right knee up behind your left knee. You got to kick your feet in opposite directions so there's space for you to take a seat. You might like to use your hands to stack your knees more. Try to do the same thing you did with the arms, but of course flipping. If you clasped your hands behind your back or did eagle arms, just do the opposite. This side might feel totally different, so find that place where you feel sensation. You don't want any pain. Breathe here for 3, 2, 1. Release whatever you're doing with your hands. Now start to walk your hands over to the right. Again, lift your hips up so you're in that forward fold position. Forward fold position facing the front of your mat. Toes turn out, yogi squat. Should feel pretty nice. Maybe you like to move around a little bit side to side. Then I'll have you drop your seat down, put your feet out in front of you. Put your hands behind you, so kind of like you would go to a reverse table, but we're not gonna do that. So feet on the mat, I want you to windshield wiper your knees side to side. This should feel pretty nice. Next time your knees are over to the right, pause. Maybe put your right foot on top of your left knee and twist a little bit to the left. Release the right foot onto the mat if it's not already. Take both knees over to the left. Stay there, or put your left foot on top of your right knee and twist a little bit over to the right. Should feel pretty nice. Release the left foot to the mat if it's not already. Bring your knees up through center. Might need to scoot yourself a little forward if you're far back on your mat. Lower all the way down onto your back. Let's go into a happy baby pose. Bring your knees to your armpits, grab your feet or your ankles. If that doesn't work out, you could always grab behind your hamstrings and pull down. You notice the tailbone lift up, draw that back down towards the mat. Try to minimize the curvature in your low back. So think every single vertebrae pressing down. Maybe add a rock side to side. Keep your right leg in happy baby. Release your left leg all the way to the mat, extending forward for half happy baby. Pull the right knee down towards the armpit. And then take your right peace sign fingers, grab your big toe, and extend your leg straight up. Try to pull that leg back towards you. Feel a nice stretch through the calf, the hamstring. Now you can take the left hand to the outer edge of the right foot and keep your leg straight, or grab your knee. Take the right leg all the way across to the left and look off to the right. If your leg is straight, you might also like to bend your left knee. Take your right hand and grab for the inside edge of your left foot. So you're in kind of a funky twist on your back. Still looking to the right side for 3, 2, 1. You would start by releasing the left foot, re-extending it straight. Release grip on the right foot, bring that leg back up through center, and hug both knees into your chest. We'll take that half happy baby on the other side. So left knee bend, grab your foot, extend your right leg. Then maybe peace sign fingers, left big toe, straighten your leg. Could always keep a little bend in your knee if your calf or your hamstring is really tight. Pull that leg back towards you, feel the stretch. Then take your right hand on the outside of your left foot, or you could go for your knee. Take your left leg all the way across to the right. Look off to the left. If this is enough, stay here. If you want that funky twist, your right knee bends. Your left hand will reach down towards the inside edge of your right foot, but you're still going to look over to the left and keep the twist. 3, 2, and 1. You would start by releasing the right foot, that's the bottom leg, then releasing the left foot and unwind through center. Hug both knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. If there's any final pose or stretch you'd like to take here, go ahead, take your time. When you're ready, I'll have you extend your legs forward. Let your toes flap out off the edges of your mat. Walk your shoulder blades a little bit underneath you and allow your palms to face up. Release any contraction you're holding onto on your inner thighs, your abdomen, your palms, or your forearms. Notice the muscles in your face. Unclench your jaw. Release your tongue. Soften the muscles around your eyes. Allow your breath to be natural without any judgment or expectation. You might notice the ease at which you're breathing, the amount of space you've created in your body. And even if you don't feel the space, feel the awareness you've created in your body. Follow your breath in and out. Shavasana, take rest and enjoy. Slowly become a little more aware of your breath, maybe where it resides or where you feel it the most in your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Send that fresh energy all throughout your veins, your muscles. Take a big stretch, sweep your arms overhead, lengthen your entire body, and then hug both knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze, maybe a little thank you for showing up and putting the effort in. Roll onto your right or left side into a fetal pose. Find and enjoy a moment of stillness. Maybe here you notice the calm or the peace you feel within. And then make your way up to a comfortable seat. Notice your breathing. It might feel less forced, deeper, more complete than when it did when you stepped on your mat. Let's draw the hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Take a big breath in and let that go. Gently open your eyes. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. Namaste. Nice work, and thank you for bearing with me on such a challenging and fun practice. Something a little bit different than what I usually teach, so I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did, and hit the subscribe button. That's the best way to support my channel if you are enjoying my videos. Do go ahead and share this with your family and friends if you think this is something they would enjoy. I release classes of all different length and skill level. I also release posture labs once a week if that's something you're interested in, is learning the correct alignment and more of the fundamentals of each pose. Make sure to check back on Wednesdays for my full-length classes and Fridays for my posture labs. Any questions, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day.